Dear friends, with the permission of everybody, I would like to start our 10th anniversary gathering in a beautiful city of Paris, which we enjoy a lot. And I'm very, glad to say that these 10 years used to be very fruitful. And today, I would like to say that I enjoy very much that we created a real atmosphere of creativity and atmosphere of the constructive dialogue between ourselves and the authorities which are responsible for getting the better and global secure world. So with your permission, I will deliver some introductional remarks. First of all, thank you all for attending our conference, which marks, as I said before, the 10th anniversary of the Luxembourg Forum. Let me remind you that the Forum was established following the conference held in Luxembourg in May 2007, which was attended by over 50 distinguished international experts from 14 countries, including many of the current members of the Forum's supervisory board. Today, our conference is attended by leaders and representatives of 11 most renowned international organizations focused on the nuclear issues, whom we will introduce in the course of this event. From the very beginning, the key objective of this forum was to analyze the most critical issues of the nuclear non-proliferation regime: control over limitation and phased reduction of the nuclear weapons, issues of regional nuclear and missile crises, primarily in Iran and North Korea, the conservation of nuclear materials, and the prevention of nuclear terrorism. Over the past 10 years, we have organized 25 conferences and roundtables attended by the most prominent international organizations in order to analyze these issues. As an outcome of this analysis, we have always circulated declarations and addresses to the leaders of the key countries, the UN, the International Atomic Energy Agency, and other international bodies, which contain concrete proposals and recommendations on how to resolve the critical situations. As a rule, we have received the feedback. During that time, 24 books and brochures were issued and distributed. Today, it is quite an impressive library. We have had ups and downs on this path. For instance, in December 2015, the Joint Conference of Luxembourg Forum and the Nuclear Threat Initiative held in Washington presented to the leaders of the United States and Russia a statement with rationale for resuming their negotiations on further reduction of strategic nuclear weapons. The reaction was immediate, although in different directions. As early as January next year, Washington repeated its proposal to reduce these weapons by approximately 1/3. Moscow outlined the obstacles to a new treaty. At times, the response to our proposals from various addresses has been uncertain. That can be seen as evidence that our arguments have lacked conviction in some cases. We will work on it. Members of the Forum Supervisory Board are contributing to improvement. The board consists of eminent, globally recognized political figures and scientists. You all know them very well. Unfortunately, the Supervisory Board has lost some members. Academician Nikolai Laverov, an outstanding scientist and an organizer of science, a man who had known perfectly well all aspects of the nuclear issues since his years as a deputy prime minister of Soviet Union and as vice president of the Russian Academy of Sciences, passed away. However, there is a new member. This year, Henry Kissinger joined the board, and we are confident that he will make a significant contribution to improvements in the Forum's activity. The members of the Supervisory Board make fairly rigorous annual assessments of the Forum's performance and recommend relevant goals for further analysis. That is why we hope that our work will become even more effective. Here is the today's state of the Luxembourg Forum. I believe we need to emphasize that 2017 is a year of previously unthinkable uncertainty in practically all areas of concern for the Luxembourg Forum and like-minded international organizations. Next year, the United States and Russia must complete the reduction of their strategic weapons under the New START. But for the first time in the history of relations between these two nuclear superpowers, there has been a long stagnation in negotiations on further reduction of the nuclear arsenals. Tension is growing due to the mutual complaints about performance of the Treaty on the Elimination of Intermediate Range and Shorter Range Missiles. The Joint Surplus Plutonium Disposition Program has been frozen. Cooperation between nuclear scientists has been discontinued. Washington has severe criticism for the Iran nuclear deal, and Tehran, in turn, is threatening to withdraw from the deal and resume its weapons program. The situation on the Korean Peninsula is at a critical peak, with constant aggravations due to North Korean President nuclear and missiles provocations. Historical experience provides us with convincing proof that these most devastating weapons will cause an uncontrollable arms race if we do not have treaties in place to limit strategic weapons based on the concept of nuclear balance. Meanwhile, the frequent claims that US-Russian relations in this area have broken down to a complete stop are an exaggeration. So far, the New START, which expires in 2021, is being fully implemented. Each year, its parties exchange dozens of inspections of ground launch facilities, ballistic missile submarines, and heavy bombers, and hundreds of verifiable notifications at the status of their nuclear forces. And there are no mutual complaints here. We have a reliable information that consultations have begun on a 5-year extension of the New START, which option is stipulated by the treaty. But it would be much better to sign a new treaty on further strategic arms reduction. It is a vital task to maintain the treaty on the elimination of intermediate range and short range missiles with unlimited duration. The parties to the treaty have voiced many complaints, and there are signs that the treaty may be abandoned. The United States is ready to start preparing to manufacture types of weapons prohibited by the treaty. So termination of this treaty could lead to critical consequences for Europe, Russia, and the United States, because the reasons that prompted the parties to sign it in 1987 have become stronger in today's circumstances. They pose the threat of a massive nuclear strike against entire Europe. From time to time, we hear that consultations on eliminating mutual claims resume, but Moscow and Washington need to take more responsible steps. European Union and International Atomic Energy Agency are positive about the nuclear deal with Iran and its progress, which gives us hope that this arrangement is stable. However, that doesn't mean that it is not necessary to closely monitor both the deal and Iran's missile programs. I will not make my introduction longer describing the well-known situation on the Korean Peninsula. Analysis and proposals on this issue will be reflected during our conference. I would like to draw your attention to historical experience, which confirms that attempts to appease aggressive totalitarian regimes usually lead to catastrophic circumstances. In general, it should be noted that the existing global environment does nothing to strengthen the nuclear non-proliferation regime or inspire joint coordinated moves by leading powers to prevent nuclear terrorism. I believe our conference have specific proposals on how to address the issues in these spheres, and I wish all of us success. I would like to once again all of the conference guests for joining us today. And the last but not the least, I want to express my deepest gratitude to my dear friend Tony Blair, the outstanding world leader and former British Prime Minister. According to my opinion, he is one of the 3 best prime ministers in the history of Great Britain. And you know all 3 of them. Who is going to share with us some aspects of his global vision. His first time is the guest of our conference. And also I want to express my deepest gratitude to my dear friends, General Dworkin and Academician Arbatov, the co-founders and fathers of our forum, whose role was really existential during all these 10 years. Thank you very much. And thank you all for your attention.